Well, the ongoing search to find the flight recorders of the crash AirAsia plane has come to an end. Indonesia says divers have succeeded in finding the key instrument that would pave the way to discover the reason for the tragedy. A team of Indonesian divers spotted the black box of flight QZ 8501 around the crash site, but they failed to retrieve it because it was stuck under the plane's debris. The divers hope to bring the flight recorders to surface using underwater lifting bags. The breakthrough in the 2-week-long search came after officials said that they have detected strong pings by 3 of the search vessels. The Indonesian officials had earlier said stormy weather was likely the cause of the AirAsia flight's crash as it was flying from the Indonesian city of Surabaya to Singapore on December the 28th. Let's cross over to London, joined by Rodney Shakespeare, political commentator. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Shakespeare. Well, let's look at the situation. It has been, in general, if we look over the past year, just very, very odd. We've had 3 planes basically crashing or missing, and this one, of course, now some of the wreckage has been found. How important is this black box that has been found? Well, of course, still hasn't been brought to surface.
There is an old saying in intelligence circles that once is coincidence, twice is, well, happenstance, and the 3rd time it's enemy action. And we have had 3 Malaysian planes. And Malaysia is, with Iran, is the one country that's dared to defy the USA and Israel in respect of Malaysia. In 1998, they've never been forgiven for their independence, and they recently found Blair and Bush guilty of war crimes. If you look at the detail of these crashes, the first one mysteriously disappears after a deviation. The second one gets shot down, and we know what happened there. It was actually shot down by Kiev, the Ukrainian, main Ukrainian government. And now this 3rd one, it is not Asia Airlines, it's a low-cost Malaysian airline. Now that's one too many, and there's no doubt that this is penalty being put onto Malaysia for its wonderful political independence in this world. And no matter what comes out of those black boxes, the finger is now pointed very squarely at the CIA and at Mossad in exactly the same way as it's pointed at both of those two for the main events on 9/11.
All right. Well, with this situation, Mr. Shakespeare, I mean, of course, you know that in today's world there would be many saying that you're a conspiracy theorist. Why would they want to then shoot the planes out of the air? Couldn't it be possible that they would put pressure in other ways? For example, if you're saying that Washington or others want to put pressure on Kuala Lumpur, why airplanes?
Well, you might ask me, why are the Americans at this very moment still putting sanctions on Iran over events in 1979 when democracy came to that country? The answer is, if you stand up against America or Israel in any respect, you will be smashed down forevermore. Cuba, 1959, and they still haven't lifted the sanctions on Cuba. This is about bullying forces with Israel in there and controlling them, and they are going to smash down anybody who dares defy them.
If this is the case, what you're saying, if it is true, Mr. Shakespeare, do you feel that the majority of people in the world are suspicious of these events, or do you think that everyone has basically accepted it as it's being presented to them?
Well, no, you see, what's happening is the alternative media, of which Press TV and Russia Today, Al Alam, and other splendid radio and TV stations are a part, Al Ethiger TV, English, for example. These stations are putting out the truth. And the Zionists and the Americans have got away by their control of the media. And I take MH17, the one which was shot down over Ukraine. We know how it was shot down, and they excluded Malaysia from the investigation. They've just been forced to allow only just Malaysia into the investigation, and we now know what will happen is that the reports will be delayed, and at the end of it, because Malaysia is in there, they will be forced, there'll be something which says, oh, it's inconclusive, when the evidence is that there are bullet holes right the way through the cockpit coming from both sides, and the American evidence of the satellites pointing down has been deliberately kept out of the picture. They're able to get away with it by their mainstream control of the media, but thank God we do have the alternative media, and many, many more people are listening to the truth as it's coming out bit by bit.
Well, all right. Professor Rodney Shakespeare, political commentator out of London. Always a pleasure to have you with us right here, Press TV.